Hello! In this next SmartBoard video, we are going to check out all of the different features within SmartBoard. Fortunately, these new SmartBoards are completely Wi-Fi enabled, so you don't have to actually be plugged into the computer at all. But if you do choose to plug into the computer, I'll show you how to pull up that on your SmartBoard along with your document camera. Let's start with the features that are built in itself. This first page, this is your home screen. If you turn on your SmartBoard and you are not directed to this home screen, you can always click the back arrow in the upper right-hand corner to take you right back here. Once you get to this home screen, you can click on this first option, Whiteboard, to open up your basic SmartBoard, your basic smart whiteboard. You can play with all of the different pen features by simply picking up the magnetic pen stuck to the bottom of your board. Keep in mind these are quite pricey, so you do want to make sure that they're either on your board at all times or they're in a safe place. You can pick up the pen and simply start writing. If you want to erase something, you can select the item, hit the drop down, and you can delete from here. You could also have your students continue working, and you can move your board up and down, and you can actually change frames. So we can move it over, and you actually have a really nice large space to work in with your students. Another great feature with the SmartBoard and with this whiteboard interaction is that you can select an entire area, so you could actually select all of that area and delete that way, or you could save it. You can click this next button down to add an image, so you can search for online content just like you would in Google Slides or Google Docs. We can use the next button to add widgets. This is great for adding a nice timer. If you want to use the dice feature, you can click on these and you can actually add these in. Oh, here we go. We can add these in here and you can select and roll the dice this way. I might have clicked on it a few times, but that's okay. So I've got a few different dice going on here. So pretty cool feature. I've got the dice in here we can play with. All of these widgets are in here. Another great feature with this whiteboard is that you can interact with students. So if students are on their own device at their desk, but you want them to participate, this third button down where it's got the image of two little people, you can click on that. Students would go to hellosmart.com and then they would join using your class code. Once they join, they are able to write all over this board. So they would sit at their seats and be writing, and you would see the work up here. You can also decide who is leading the pacing, the teacher or the students. So that's a really cool feature that you can add in here. You can share it with your students, give them each their own copy of the board to work on, and you can share the students' pacing. We're going to click that back arrow to come out of here. A few other things, we can add this, if we go all the way down, the plus sign, we can actually come in here and add some graphic organizers. All of those live in here. We can add some manipulatives. Those are in here, so we have a lot of our math manipulatives already in here that we can utilize. We can do shout outs. And so I can actually start that for the class, clicking the shout out button, and I can add these shout outs right in here. So it's loading. Once it's uploaded, I'll be able to use all of these features. And then let's come down here to this plus sign again. We can also come to a blank page. So I went to the plus sign and I can go to that blank page to get my blank page right there. To go from one page to the next, I'm going to use the up and down arrows that are built in. So I created a blank page or a second page for my shout outs. I could resume that with my class here. I would need some student devices though, so it's not going to work without my students being connected, but it is great that I can show their work and give them shout outs on the board. So all of those are in here. Again, the plus is going to get me to my graphic organizers, my manipulatives, blank pages, or shout outs. If I want to go back, I'm just going to hit this back arrow up in the upper left-hand corner, and I can pull up recent SmartBoards that I've been working on. So if we worked on it, and then I walk away from it for a little while, and I want to come back to it, I can pull that up on my home page under Recents. So those will all be in here. I can also pull it up under files. So if I go into files, it will pull up all of my SMARTBoard files down there. This is again at the very bottom. To get back to my home page, I'm going to click the arrow in the upper left-hand corner, or I'm going to click the home button on my remote, or in the bottom right-hand corner of the board. All of those will take me back to this home page. So that's how we use this, the whiteboard feature within SMARTBoard, along with the pens at the bottom. Next, we have Browse. Our whiteboards are completely Wi-Fi enabled, so you do not even need to have your computer plugged in or turned on for your whiteboard to work. It will instantly pull up, and you can come right in here and start typing in websites to take your students to. So you could go into your Google Slides without even turning on your computer. Use it directly from here. So that's just a regular web browser that you can interact with. It's completely touchscreen. I'm going to go home. The next one in my favorites is going to be Player. If I click on Player, it's going to take me to the whiteboard, ready-made activities, or shoutouts. This is going to be kind of like my favorites. It's taking us back to the same view as the file down at the bottom. So File along with Player are going to take me to the same tools. I can see everything I've done right here. If I do need to ever come in and adjust my settings, that's in the bottom left-hand corner. If I click on settings, I can check everything here. There's really not much you should need to check here, other than if you are reaching out for IT support, it is helpful to let them know what board you have. So if they ever ask what's the serial number, any of that, that won't happen. But if it did, it is in settings. You would also be able to check Wi-Fi status in here as well. But for the most part, your board should be up and running. You shouldn't have to play with settings. If you need to adjust audio, date, time, language, any of that, it is in settings. Let's go back home. If we click on the button next to File, Apps. Let's click on Apps. This is going to take you to the different SMARTBoard apps that are built in to your board. You can add apps here, but for the most part, you'll all have a gallery where you can save pictures. So you'll be able to pull up pictures. This is nice if you just need a simple screensaver on your board. Or if you want students to draw on a picture, hashtag the image, all of that. So next we have the smart sensors. Honestly, you're not going to find a lot of use for that one. I haven't had a chance to play with it very much. If you do want to dive into that, we can dive in at a later time. We have our browser. We have the cap whiteboard. There's a welcome, so if you ever want to walk through a nice welcome to get used to how to use your board, that is in the apps, and it will walk you step by step through a lot of these features that I'm going through right now. So a great refresher. Next, we have a calculator. You can quickly pull that up on your board without having to pull out your phone or an actual calculator. You can pull up music on your SMARTBoard, pull up the camera, which is pretty neat that you could pull up the camera, get a nice fun class photo, and then we have the player. If there are ever any apps that you want to save to your home page, you just click on so let's say I want to save the camera, click on the little star in the upper left corner so that it turns green. Once it's green, it's going to then show up on my home page, and you would be able to open that up and utilize that camera feature. All right, so those are all of the built-in apps and tools within your SMARTBoard. Again, most of them live in the favorites. If you don't find what you're looking for in favorites, check out the apps. That will take you to more items that you can then add to your favorites, and all of these are on your home screen, totally Wi-Fi enabled. If there's ever an app that you're playing with and you want to learn more about, definitely reach out to me, one of the other coaches, or to your site tech, and they can help you become familiar with those. Check out the next video to see how we can enable our computer to display onto the SMARTBoard along with the document camera.